As I stepped off the train and onto the one platform, a chill ran down my spine. The small town of Ravenswood was shrouded in mist, the buildings seeming to loom over me like sentinels. I had come to Ravenswood to investigate the mysterious disappearance of a local family, the Smiths. They had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a cryptic note and a trail of whispers. I made my way to the local inn, where I was greeted by the proprietor, a gruff but kind-hearted man named Jack. He showed me to my room, a small but cozy space with a view of the mist-shrouded town. As I settled in, I began to hear the whispers. At first, they were just faint murmurs, but as the night wore on, they grew louder and more urgent. I couldn't make out what was being said, but the tone was unmistakable, a mournful, longing cry that seemed to come from all around me. I tried to ignore the whispers, but they only grew louder and more insistent. I began to feel like I was being watched, and the shadows on the walls seemed to twist and writhe like living things. The next day I set out to investigate the disappearance of the Smiths. I spoke to the locals, but they seemed reluctant to talk about the family. They would glance nervously over their shoulders as if they feared being overheard. As I walked through the town, I noticed something strange. The buildings seemed to be shifting, the angles and corners seemed to be subtly different, as if the very fabric of reality was wrapped and distorted. I began to feel a creeping sense of unease, as if I was walking through a dream where the whispers grew louder and more urgent, and I could feel the shadows closing in around me. That night I returned to the inn, exhausted and shaken. As I settled into my room, I heard a faint scratching sound coming from the wall. It was a soft, deliberate scratching, as if someone was trying to communicate with me. I approached the wall cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. As I listened, the scratching grew louder and more insistent. Suddenly, a piece of paper slipped out from under the wallpaper. I picked it up, my hands shaking. On the paper was a message, scrawled in a childish hand. "They're still here. Don't go into the woods." I felt a chill run down my spine. Who was still here? And what did they want me to know? I knew then that I had to investigate further. I set out into the woods, determined to uncover the secrets of Ravenswood. As I walked deeper into the forest, the shadows seemed to close in around me. The trees loomed overhead, their branches creaking ominously in the wind. I stumbled upon an old, abandoned house hidden deep in the woods. The windows were boarded up, and the door was covered in cobwebs. But as I approached the door, I heard a faint whispering. It was a soft, melancholy sound like the whispering of the wind through the trees. I pushed open the door and stepped inside. The house was dark and musty, the air thick with the scent of decay, but as I looked around, I saw something that made my blood run cold. On the walls, in letters scrawled in blood, was a message: "We're still here. We'll never leave." I knew then that I had uncovered the dark secrets of Ravenswood. The Smiths had not disappeared. They had been consumed by some ancient, malevolent force that lurked in the woods. And as I turned to flee, I heard the whispers grow louder and more urgent. The shadows seemed to twist and writhe around me like living things. I knew then that I was trapped in Ravenswood, forever bound to the secrets and whispers of the town. And as the darkness closed in around me, I screamed and screamed, but my cries were drowned out by the whispers of the damned.